Good piece of music to start this off with. Nice one. Okay, hello everybody. Supermassive hello to everybody watching this in GDQ submission land, wherever and whoever you may be. Thank you for checking out this run submission of mine, and I hope you appreciate it. I hope you consider it. My name is Laura Petzl. I am an English variety and speedrun streamer, currently based in Japan, actually, with a channel over here that is 1,000 followers at least, and we have good times over here. We have good chill times, playing variety games and speedrunning this right here. Of course, I am also a member of the trans community. Shout out to all of my sisters under the spectrum and brothers under the spectrum too, and everybody else in between. Thank you for being you. And welcome to my submission. We are going to be doing a speedrun here in Ridge Racer Type 4. The any percent, essentially just the Grand Prix mode of the video game. We are doing this on the original PlayStation 1 version, made in 1999 by Namco. Running on authentic hardware. I have a slim PS2 next to me, SCPH 90000 if you're aware. It's a Japanese model. Here's my original copy of the game, also Japanese version. AV to HDMI box so I can play it on my HD TV. And the special piece of equipment we're using for this run is here in my hand, a neGcon controller, MPC-101, made by Namco, proprietary controller, specifically made for games like this and other driving games out there at the time. We will be controlling the thing by way of twisting around the middle axis of the controller. This is where we get our steering inputs from. We had a weird idea of doing steering back in the day. But yeah, this is actually considered like one of the must-haves if you want to get through this game in the fastest times possible. There's only so much that D-pad or analog steering will give you. Using the neGcon is the way to go if you're doing this on original hardware. So if you want to give this a go, I recommend to get one of those. And perfect, the demo video has just finished, so we can get into the run. So, welcome to the main menu. As I said, this is a any percent Grand Prix mode speedrun, which essentially, once we hit the start button to select Grand Prix, the timer will start, and we will get to the end of Grand Prix mode. We run this game in RTA, so we run real time, no IGTs in this one. So when we hit the Grand Prix mode, that's when timer starts. It also means that at the start of the mode, we will have to do some quick menuing to select our team and our car. You can see down there we'll be using the team RTS and the car of the Torazzi manufacturers. So that's the car and team we'll be using for this run. The fastest times on the Japanese build of the game for this team is roughly about 28 minutes and 14 seconds. So I am not a million miles away from there. And as I said, yeah, quick menuing is what we'll be doing at the start. We can try some menuing, quick menu select techniques here. Essentially hitting the arrow buttons on the D-pad and the select button more or less at the same time to hopefully get a quick select of the option in. Otherwise, it's not the end of the world. Just make sure that we actually pick the right options as we go for the menu. And if we pick a wrong option somewhere, that will be a reset. And we'll put some time at the beginning of this one in the estimate to account for if we get a bad menu in the start of the run. But hopefully, in this demo, that shouldn't happen. We'll at least get the right selections. Okay, with all that said, we will begin the Grand Prix mode in just a short while, so do get ready. As I said, timer starts when we hit Grand Prix and select the option. So here we go, in 3, 2, 1... Let's start. And then we immediately just get practicing the mashing of the buttons. Welcome to the reel. That's all you get to say. So here we go with our first quick select. We didn't quite get it, but that is also not too bad to worry about. We at least picked the right team. Gotta quickly mash through the menus. Can we get another one here? Nope. But at least we got the right car. And we need to make sure we pick manual transmission, MT option there. That is a reset if you do not pick MT. If you accidentally do AT, that is a run reset. Because you will not be able to do some of the techniques that we will use to go fast in this run if you don't pick manual transmission. So here we go. On the start line, you'll immediately see some of the techniques. So here we go. Immediately see a launch start there. And then straight into another one of the quick techniques is we are using what's called the Mappy Boost. Using the AR cars to propel ourselves forward and hopefully not run into the wall there. That would be a bad idea. So there you go, immediately 2 quick shows of speed techniques that we can do in this run to save ourselves some time. Launch start right at the beginning to get a quick launch off the line, and as I said, the Mappy Boost, which is just a quirky name we came up for. Essentially just using the cars around you to further propel yourself forward as they shoot on ahead to get into their position on the racetrack, being the arcade AI racers that they are. And yeah, that's essentially it on the big old techniques here. The rest of the run is pretty much just nailing those techniques where it's necessary, and let's get in the best way through. Got a bit too much on the inside there. So there's obviously some knowledge of racing lines that you need to have to be able to do this run good as well, because you need to know, like, the inside line is often the best line and is often the quickest line. It shortens the distance that you have to drive at the end of the day. If you are a fan of your motor racing in the real world, of course you would know this. Being one myself, I of course know all about that. I follow things like Formula 1 and the World Endurance Championship. So if you're of that ilk as well, or maybe you're part of your own local racing scene, as long as you're doing it fairly and legally, of course, you'd know all about this sort of thing. Alright then. So we'll just go through here, as I said, twisting the neGcon to get our steering inputs. Like so, like this. I tend to use the 135 degrees lock on the steering as my comfortable option. That's what I've gotten used to, so we're going to use that to get through. So we are in here. The GP mode, as I said, is just a collection of 8 races, split in various ways, and you just got to get through in the best positions possible as quickly as possible. That is essentially the gist of this. And knowing just like a couple of like gearing exploits that we can do there, like manipulating the car's gearing to get quick little boost of speed here and there as well. So not an entirely tidy start. We did get too close to the wall on the inside, but we will roll with that and see where we can improve time in other places. There we go. Quick mashing through of the dialogue in between rounds. The Japanese version, you have to do the technique of mashing in between start and select to get quickly through the menus. Other versions of the game let you just skip them outright. Go with the start of race number 2. We can hopefully get in position to get the Mappy Boost just about sneaked in, and hopefully we'll run this as quick as much as we can. We will take that as it is. That is honestly not a terrible amount to get. We can get more, but often you just find yourself slipping away from there, so you just take what you get and go and catch them up later. So as I said, we are in track number 2 called Wonder Hill. Get a gearing exploit there to just boost ourselves forward a bit more. I can't really explain like too much how it actually works. I just know if you just do that, you get more speed, and that is a good thing at the end of the day. Okay then. Yeah, plug it nice and all to the inside there, and all the way to the inside there, and hopefully we can get a line that leaves this flat out, and we don't need to lift off, and do not run into the back of the car. So yeah, any sort of contact with the wall or the rear ends of other cars is usually bad news. Definitely if you hit the rear of the car, that is definitely bad news. There is something that we can do if we find ourselves, like just there, feeling that we are going to hit the wall, like there as well, is if I do a shift down immediately before hitting the wall, again, that will cause some funkiness to happen with the torque of the car and the revs that it's got going on, and we can hopefully get back up to speed relatively quickly from a crash into the wall, for example. Of course, ideally, the thing that we should do is avoid walls entirely, but sometimes you find yourself drifting out to the side because reasons. Maybe the AI car sends you that way, but it's nice to know that there's a technique that you can do to sort of mitigate the speed loss as much as possible. But you still will get speed loss, obviously, but less is more at the end of the day on that one. So we get another gear manipulation there to boost us along just a tad on the straight over the crest. And then nail ourselves around that tight corner there. We are doing like I said, the racing team Solvalu team, which the game designates as the hard difficulty. But it does tend to give us the fastest cars to use throughout the run, and so that is what the fastest runners of the game will tend to use. And we are using the Tarazzi model of the cars for the run as well. And these fall under what they call the grip category for getting around corners. If I let go and tap brake just slightly, you notice that the car is like turning ever so slightly more and screeching its tires as it grips the surface to get around tight corners. Some of the other vehicles you can choose have the drift setting, which allow you to do a proper D1 drift style cancel drifto around the corner to be able to make those tight turns instead. It's your preference on that one, really. I just like using the grip cars. And we approach the line on race number 2. Pretty, not too much time lost, so I'm happy with that. And we get one of our first little bits of menuing here, which I just need to focus on, because it's going to bait us out with a do you want to save the game, which we don't want to do, because that wastes time. And thus, here we go. And here we go, we get our first car upgrade for the next round of races. So we got ourselves a car with better top speed, and we need to pay attention as well. We are up a gear as well, so we have 5 to select from, so we've got to pay that in mind when we do our launch start here. So I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, and then hopefully launch in 5th, and we get our launch there, so we will take that there. We get right on the outside to just make sure we don't get tangled with that other Mappy car. You can try and get a line to get a Mappy Boost off there, but it is very, very tight to try and pull off, and I need more practice at that. So here we have it. We are entering GP number 2. So the next block of 2 races are going to be with the car you see here, the Wild Boar, with its big trike-like design, which I really do appreciate. I think it looks funky. So here we go here. So we have a car here with, as I said, more top speed, and the most top speed that we can get as a result of our finishing positions. So the aim of the best route through the game is to finish all the races in first place, because naturally first place is the best place. And in this game, it also gives us access to the fastest upgrade possible. So obviously we would like to use all of that speed there to be able to make our way through and do very, very good in the rounds. We have more inside running there. Hopefully we can sneak in the inside of third place there. We technically only need second place to advance through this set of races, but obviously we do want first place because we get the best car upgrades. Gonna have to double shot on the grip to get around that hairpin. Got the line slightly a bit too awry there, but we survived. So if there is at any point we have a co-commentator for this run alongside with me, we will give them a chance to talk about the experiences of the game here as well, and share their knowledge, obviously. Probably one of the best times to be able to do that will be round about here. Once we get the car into first place, it is usually pretty smooth sailing for the rest of the race until we then have to think about back markers. So, as you see there, we are using as much of the inside line as possible. The track allows you to go all the way into the inside there. All the other racers don't follow it, but we do because it's the shortest line through. That is racing knowledge for you. So we will say probably when we get to like third lap and we've made our way into first place for the runs here, we will probably use this as a time to say if the host of the run and the people on the commentary desk would like to talk about updates on donations or updates to other incentives and other events and runs lined up for the rest of the event. This would be a good time for them to do so. And yeah, we could just like wax lyrical about some of the cool stuff about this game, particularly the music. The music of here is going to be probably one of the big talking points if we get it submitted, because I think every single track in this list is an absolute bop. It's a brilliant time to listen to the music of this game just on its own. It's a stellar album in its own right. So we get to a point where we start getting back markers here as well, so we've got to get around the lap traffic near to the end of the lap, but we managed that very, very well, and get a strong finish. Very, very strong finish, actually. So here we go then. There might be some time in between the races here as well to get a quick mention of an update of an incentive or a quick donation. This would be a good time to maybe do that as well, as we wait for the game to load up and we go into Out of Blue. and we will find ourselves returning to some certain track elements. You'll notice that the start of this race here as well looks very familiar, because it uses some of the same track bits as previous events. Okay, so unfortunately the AI does like to try and avoid you as well as it gets into position, so you've got to get a match on there. We'll get as wide a berth as we can because the lines tend to be a bit off. So to avoid contact with the car, that is obviously saving ourselves from that. So welcome to track number 4, Outer Blue, which has what I like to call here the right angle of death. Get a good brake and a good turn, and we will run with that as it is. So you can see there, a straight 90-degree, pretty much right angle turn, which can catch you off guard if you're not prepared for it. So a lot of practicing to get around there with that one. And then here is a bad place for team orders. I run into the back of our teammate, unfortunately, but hopefully not for too much longer. We get around them and safely around. Okay, right. So we're gonna have time loss there, but that is okay. Just get it back later. A bit more gear manip, see if we can get like just a quick like little boost. A little boost to our top speed. Basically it feels like you're just getting overspeed when you do that technique, and find as many places as you can to do it. Welcome to lap 2, and we can just talk about like how for 1999 they did make this game incredibly pretty. The set pieces around the course are really nice. We're going through a shipyard here, which is really neat. And then get the turn around there, pretty good. Running along the coastline highways, it is super pretty, this video game. And we can talk about like the pioneering garage shading techniques to make the cars look really, really good under the lights and shadows of the game. And yeah, this game just holds up so well. It's very, very pretty, and I think a great like pick up and play arcade game, in all honesty. I could have seen it if this didn't have an arcade cabinet. I could see this being an arcade cabinet somewhere. Okay, yeah, we're going to hopefully carry this like 1 kilometer extra over speed down this long straight, which is obviously really good to do. And keep on the inside. And around we go again. You can see some of the other Namco advertisements. There is Namco plastered all over this video game, if you didn't know this already. Advertisements for all the other products. Ace Combat, Soul Calibur. We'll see some Klonoa references as well, because back in this day, the people like to shill for their other games. Okay, we're a bit late to trying to rescue ourselves from that wall contact, but all things considered, not terrible. Otherwise, we would have had 3 very nice passes through the right angle of death. Let's get a nice pass through here, and that's cool. And look at that, we have a BART marker to try and deal with. Let's get a nice quick turn off the hop there. Around the outside, we'll take it. As Eminem would like to say, around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. Our announcer will say, it's the final stretch, and we'll go. Jumbotron is showing Dig Dug. As I said, Namco references up the wazoo in this game. Even down to the team names that they use as well. RTS, Racing Team Solvaloo, Micromouse Mappy, Pack Racing Team, Dig Racing Team. It's all like that there. Yes. Right, we have another save menu to skip there. And welcome to the second upgrade, which I love the look of this car. Reminded me of the classic, like, 1960s era Formula 1 racing cars, like, particularly the ones by Honda. Which would make sense, because in universe, Torazzi is a Japanese manufacturer, so of course they would make a Honda Formula 1 car like that.
3, 2, 1.
Right, more gears to play with on this car as well, so we gotta take that in as well. And also, welcome to Phantom Mile. Those of you Klonoa fans out there will appreciate the name. And also, welcome to the shortest track in the video game. This is the one that made me panic as a child because it was so short. I'm like, how can I get everybody overtaken in time? I don't know if I'll be good enough to do that. And lo and behold, learning techniques where you're able to just do it like this. As I said, Phantom Mile is a good reference for Klonoa fans out there. And what to do around there. So these are roughly about like 31, 32 second laps. This race will go by very, very quickly. then we can talk about like how, as a kid, I struggled with this racetrack in all honesty because I did not know how to properly like drift or power slide back in the day, so I was always wall riding to try and get around corners. But luckily now, we know about techniques to do to get us through quickly. I like to call this track One Short Boy because, as I said, it is the shortest track in the video game. Some people refer to it as the sock, because the shape of the course does make it look like it's something you'd wear on your foot. Yeah, other than that, there's really not much to this one, just a load of tight little hairpins like this, so we're going to make sure, even for this short, like 19-95 second blast, that we are as careful as we can be for that one. I think we have enough space to keep in first place. And right about now, with this third BP, first place is all important. You cannot advance to the next round if you finish lower than first place for the remainder of the GP, so you've got to be on board with that. But usually with our techniques, we are pretty much on board with that one, so that is all good for us. And I am not too far away from my PB so far. We're just getting constant time stays here, which is really cool. Quick shift through here as well. And now we're going to talk about a mood set right here. We're going to go to the track Brightest Night, track number 6 of the Grand Prix. And we are going to talk about a mood because this track here, the objective is a sound and a half for this. I feel like it adds so much to the mood. There, and we're in the right gear. Yes, we are. 6-gear cars, of course. And let's roll. Might just like be not entirely communicated for this one because I would like to listen to just how superb this acid track is. It is so good. Go around the outside of my car. You can try sticking on the inside, but it's safe to get around the outside. Right. The track is going to drop in just a moment here, and I will shut up for it so you can listen to how just good the sound is. Here we go. Here's a drop. Get a listen to that sound there. Like, me as a child playing this, I thought, this is a scary track because the music that can sometimes play here is just like, whoa, why is it like this? Okay, we didn't have a strong corner there, but that's fine. We will try and get back to speed quickly as we can. Sometimes the traffic we're going to get around sort of messes with your plans for taking the corner, so you just gotta be careful. Also, hey, yes, I don't know if you noticed in this about the start line of this track here. Yes, we have seen it before, but yeah, just notice about that, what you're seeing around on the start line. We'll point it out next time as well, because I'm sure there'll be an awesome set piece coming up. We'll try and keep that accelerator push down. I think my neGcon trying its best with the accelerator button that I picked for it. Thankfully, if you are not comfortable with like the base neGcon layout settings, you can put yourself through several different variations on the input. So I think I picked another input that involves me not using the hard to press down red buttons, the number 1 and number 2. I'm not doing that. So we are running with this pretty comfortable. So that you do not bonk me in the behind. Thankfully, you did not. And again, same way as it was previously, use all of that inside, just to shorten down the racing distance that you cover overall. Alright, here we should have a cool set piece coming in. Did I hit the wall? I did hit the wall so slightly. There's a plane landing. This is a live runway we are racing through right now. I just love the fact that every time, I point this out literally every single time I go for this, the organisers of this race in particular, in this part of the world, thinking, where should we have our racetrack be? Oh, look, there's the nearby live runway. How about live airport runway? How about that? Yo, you're a genius. Give that man a race. I just like the fact that in-game, that's what the organisers literally thought. Hey, we'll go against a live runway, and it'll be super dangerous, but that will just add to the wow factor of around here. And honestly, it kind of does. Particularly this jump as well. That's a wow bit of the game right there. That big old jump down. Okay, so we didn't have, like, the best run possible, but we are still within distance of our good runs here, so we will take this as close as we can to the end. We will say floor it, and I'm flooring it as best as I can, as much as my thumb can manage, and we will get a run there. So, okay. I thought we were going to be losing there, but turns out, no, we're not. We're pretty much on the same time as my PB. Okay. So you'd expect another menu in here, but psych, we're going to go through another round, actually, because the GP is weird like that one. We go through a third round with our current car. And appropriately, we call this Heaven and Hell. In fact, it's called that in the game as well, because it's either a heavenly run or a hellish run. It's kind of like you pick and choose. So we will try and make this as heavenly a run as possible. And you'll notice that, again, this track was familiar, at least in this first part. I would say like the first half of this circuit we have raced on before in a previous round, if you remember track number 2. Exactly the same. With like the first half of the race. With lots of faster car means we've got to anticipate braking around there and doing good with that. I like to think that was pretty smooth. Pretty good to get around there, and now we take the different path that goes up the tunnel, up this hill here, and we get ourselves to a tighter, which we should hopefully be able to get flat. That is thanks to the neGcon allowing us the wider steering angle inputs, allowing us to take that corner flat out, and teammates are fucking getting in our way here quite catastrophically. So I think we can call this track Hell. I think we can do that, but that's fine. Just in case I can't use Hell on the stream, we'll use Heck instead. We will say this is Heaven and Heck. But I mean, it's got a pretty heroic sounding piece of music here. This one I think is called The Ride. And yeah, that little section there is very heroic sounding. Hopefully you're not going to get in my way. Just a little bit you are, but I think we managed that fairly okay. Sometimes the cars just end up being in places where you don't like them to be. Gotta bear in mind that one. And yeah, that was actually a very, very smooth slide through there. I like that. There you go. I think if you get to within touch distance in the first place, when you get to this point here, it is good. And awesome pick of the line to get the overtake and get around it flat. Very, very nice if I say so myself. And forget what buttons to press, don't mind me. Accidentally pressing the one that goes into the front cam, which does give you a rear view camera as well if you want to see where cars are behind you. And you can use that to try and get the opening boost technique, the Mappy Boost off of the AR car. But the thing about that is the rear view camera doesn't appear for a good few seconds after you start. So you've still got to kind of guess the position of the car behind you. So I usually just stick to chase cam. It gives me the widest view of the circuit and lets you just look and appreciate the car again because it's a beautiful thing. All of its polygons. Just appreciate how much modeling of cars and texturing of cars has come since these heady days here. We think about like how games like Gran Turismo, iRacing, Assetto Corsa look like nowadays. Just all paved away, didn't it? Right. Okay, so we anticipated the wall hit there again, so I did shift down to try and mitigate the speed loss. So hopefully that, I think that worked pretty okay. And apart from a slightly shady lap 1, we are actually recovering pretty okay here. Okay, we'll try and get this last bit flat out as well, pick a line and go for it. Very, very nicely done. And we'll just set ourselves in. So we will drop a few seconds there, but that is absolutely fine. And it's time to skip through and get the rest of the menuing done here. So, yep. We can have a quick moment here to maybe have a donation or two as I pick through the final save screen option. Make sure we don't fall for that. And welcome to our final car upgrade, just in time for the final round. Aptly named the Destroyer. It is a beast of a weapon. It is going to be the fastest car that we use on, by far, the fastest track as well. And we are going to be doing this as our final round. And we'll get you to listen to the music as well because it's very, very good. If we think we are listening to the absolutely brilliant tones of Kimura Lovelace from back in like 98 and 99. If you like your Sonic R music, this feels pretty similar because TJ Davis also doing a brilliant performance of that one. And I feel like TJ Davis sort of set the way for Kamaru Lovelace to do this song for the final round here. So as I said, we're in the fastest car here, and ideally this is all about just as we like to say. Just hold down the Excel and pick the best lines around this very wide, flowing, with wide corners here. So it's just pick your best line and go through. You can almost liken this track to an oval, in all honesty. So it's similar to your NASCAR types or your IndyCar types that go on oval races. Sort of thing there. So hopefully, if we pick the right lines and avoid traffic, we will not be dropping any speed. And we will use this time as well to like get our last little mentions here. If there's last donations that come through in our run, we can give our time for those. I will consider as well like a little short incentive as well, if I want to put that into the submission as well. There is an incentive that we could do, what is called the extra trial at the end as well, which would add probably roughly 3 or 4 minutes to the end of the GP run. There will be an extra trial which pits you in a one-on-one race against a super uber-powered car, and we will of course be doing that one with the super uber-powered car that we picked up during the GP run. So if you want to see that, I might add it as an incentive at like plus 3 or 4 minutes to the base run here. But anyway, we have done this. We have done the thing here. Get nice and tight on the inside lanes. Around there too. Sometimes car likes to turn left as well as turn right as well as left. We are going to get to the final lap of the run, and time will be once we cross the line of the final lap. So we will let you know when that happens as well. But yeah, this has basically been the run of it. So yeah, just knowing some start techniques and the like, and just basically having great knowledge of racing lines will get you through this run as quickly as possible. Avoiding wall contacts, avoiding the obstacles of the cars around you, and committing to those turns. And as a certain Blue Hedgehog would say, even though we're not playing the Blue Hedgehog game, gotta go fast. And the track drops when we get on the final straight. The fireworks are off. It is New Year's Day in-game, and we are gonna say, time! Right there. With a pretty decent showing there, I think, 28.25. That's about 5 seconds off my current PB, and thus about 11 seconds away from the record time for RTS Tarazzi GP mode ran on Japanese PlayStation 2 hardware. So that was pretty close in the run there. And as I said, if we get ourselves the incentive met to run the extra trial at the end of this, we will add on another point, like 4 minutes to run the end, so we can do the extra trial. So that is essentially the gist of this run of Ridge Racer Type 4. It is very, very easy as a pick-up and play speed run, I think, and a good showing of slightly less than known hardware as well, so you can run it as well. So I think this could be a good demonstration of this kit, and yeah, I could see this being a good fit as an in-between run, or as part of like a good long list of short runs to fill time between some of the larger runs that people submit for in the event. I could see that being a good idea to be among those, and just a showcase of something that I think is very, very easy to pick up and get trying, because as I said, it just involves 1 or 2 very easy to pull off techniques, I think, and just generally have really good awareness of racing lines. And as I said, if you're a fan of that kind of thing, if you're a fan of racing games and a fan of the racing scene, then this could be a fun run to demonstrate as a part of everything else going on. So I do sincerely hope you appreciate it. If you do somehow end up getting the personal best, this screen here legitimizes the run, and that is where we call it. So yes, the estimate we will put in at 30 minutes to account for maybe a slip up in the opening menuing that we have to do. But hopefully we shouldn't have that happen. And that is your lot in that one. And yeah, a good 28:25. A low 28 time is a very, very nice run, I think, for this combination. So I hope that was an enjoyable time for all of y'all. Yeah. So you can find me on my social links. I have places on Twitter, on Twitch, of course. My Twitch channel, Laura Petal, all one word. You can find me there doing chill and nice hangout stream games, and occasionally trying out a speedrun game as well, like keeping on top of this game, which is an absolute vibe for me. I adore it. I have come to really adore it over the years because I think it is just a good old classic game. And as I said, very, very short, very, very easy to pick up. And as I think you've probably seen there, pretty easy to do as a good entry-level speedrun, particularly if you're a fan of cars and racing games. I think that's going to be a great show for that. But yes, you can find me on my Twitch channel, and I have presences on YouTube, and I got a Discord server, I got Blue Sky and Twitter as well. Of course, all of those details are in the submission as well, so check those out, of course. And yeah, that is Ridge Racer Type 4 any percent in Grand Prix mode. Thank you very much for enjoying this, and yeah, if I do get in, I hope to give you all a good show. But good luck to everybody else running their submissions as well, and to all who make it, I am sure that the event will be a good time for the GDQ folk, and particularly for the Games and Queer folk. But yeah, that is it for the run. Please do have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay and stay awesome. And yeah, if I get in, I'll see you for the event. Runner or otherwise, I think I will definitely check out some of the runs that get in as an audience member as well. But with all that said, that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Take care until next time.